Hey, what's going on? How you doing? I'm gonna play the song one last time. I know a lot of my supporters right now, they some mature girls, they working right now, but I kind of miss going live. So I miss the engagement. So I'm trying to make this more of a habit instead of pre-recorded. But I'm gonna play the song one last time while people get ready to get on their lunch break and stuff. But what's going on? All righty. Make sure everything's all good to go over here. All right, let me change this up. Bingo. Let me take this down. All righty, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the land of Reckless Logicc. How you guys doing today? Please make sure you guys thumbs up this video. Thumbing up really does help out with YouTube's algorithm. All righty, so let's get into the things and let's talk about the drama. Alrighty, so I'm gonna have a hot topics video for you guys today. I kind of been seeing some things. I wanted to chit chat with you guys. I want to do a live stream because I miss the engagement. I miss having engagement with you guys. So I want to do a live stream and just chit chat with you guys. All right, that's another thing too. Because it is Venus retrograde, technology starts to act crazy. So if my stuff starts to act crazy, y'all let me know in the comments, in the chat. In addition, I already got a backup plan for all of that. Let me see. Hold up. Ooh, let me change this stuff back. There we go. Come on, it's already acting up. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere with this. Alrighty, so because my mic was all messed up over here. So first thing that we have on the docket. First person I really want to get into, and I really thought it was really interesting to talk about. I wanted to talk about and get into where that bad boy at. Boosie Badass. It says here, this is brought to you guys by the Neighborhood Talk. Well, actually, I lied. Hollywood Unlocked. It says, Boosie contemplates on canceling annual Boosie Bash Festival in Louisiana after Attorney General Liz Murrow threatens legal action over tribute to Caleb Wilson. Girl, when I tell you that she's over here turning him every which way but loose. Now it says, wow, Boosie says he is considering canceling his annual Boosie Bash event in Louisiana after Attorney General Liz Murrow threatened legal action against him for wanting to honor late Southern University student Caleb Wilson. As we previously stated, Boosie recently shared plans to recognize Wilson at his 6th annual Boosie Bash Festival held at Southern University. Boosie announced the launch of the Caleb Wilson Memorial Scholarship. He even claimed that Wilson's father played a major role in helping plan the tribute. Girl. However, Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrow quickly called cap on Boosie's claims. She countered and said Wilson's parents had zero knowledge of any scholarship. She also said the parents of the late student never signed off on Boosie using the son's name in connection with his event. Girl, what is bad boy at? His event. In a non-sugar-coated statement, AG Murrow said, Caleb Wilson's parents have advised me that they have not given consent and know nothing about their son's name and image being used to promote this event. They didn't even know the event was happening. They have requested that his name, image, and any reference to a scholarship for him be removed from all promotional materials. I intend to take legal action due to the misappropriation of his name and image to promote their for-profit event. This is not a charitable event. Girl. Oh, let me change this stuff back over here. A charitable event. On Monday, March 24th, Boosie ended up firing back on X and called the move the ultimate betrayal. In a second tweet on Tuesday, March 25th, he again slammed the AG Murrow and told the family he's been trying to get in touch with them ever since he learned of Wilson's passing. Boosie said despite constantly being messed with by officials in Louisiana, he'll former be Mr. Louisiana. Boosie later went on live on Instagram and reinitiated his frustrations with Louisiana officials and revealed that he's considering canceling his annual Boosie Bash BS. Alrighty. So I'm going to be honest with y'all. Am I here for Boosie? As everybody know, if you may or may not know, I am not here for Boosie. I do not like Boosie. Boosie irks my spirit. He's one of the very few people that can get me going with his BS. I have my moments. Yes, I'm here for him in terms of I can deal with him. He's tolerable for me. And I have other moments where I just can't stand him and he irks my spirit. Now, I'm going to say this. In terms of the article and then an additional article that I read. So in a nutshell, what I understand from this situation is that, as you guys may or may not know, Caleb, he is the student that ended up losing his life because of a situation of hazing on campus at Southern University. And he also was part of the jukebox. Now, as a result, what I read from this article and the previous one that I read previously, there seems to be two different either agendas or motives or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to let you guys fill in the blanks. So basically what I'm getting from Boosie is saying that, hey, yo, this tragic event has happened and I'm already doing my annual Boosie Bash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, can I also connect this Boosie Bash with the event, with this tragedy that's happened, and then I also want to give back to the community and said scholarship. Okay, cool. But on the other end, when I read an article that there seems to be a middleman, and allegedly, and this middleman either did not communicate to the parents in the same manner of what Boosie was doing, or one of these mothers are lying. Either or. I don't know which one's which. But what I will say that first thing that popped in my head when I was reading the articles, and also when the situation happened. For one, if for me, I would think that if I noticed that there was a situation or a tragedy that happened and the family is in a grieving process right now, I would have thought that what most celebrities and people with influence do, they would try to impact the family directly with trying to help out with financial or monetary, like the monetary side of things. I would think that is what people would do. So I would think that you would assist with trying to help out with either funeral arrangements, help out with personal or financial burdens that the family may be dealing with right now, or trying to find them connects to help ease that process. That's what I would think celebrities or people with influence would do. So I was confused about the scholarship part of it, because yes, raising awareness, yes, this also giving back to the community, but how is that so much going to help the family? And I was a little confused about that. That's my personal opinion. Another thing too, now to my understanding, I could be right, I could be wrong, but to my understanding, another thing that I noticed is that when it came down to the situation in terms of Boosie, from what I've seen, I didn't see any receipts. I didn't see anything that actually shows that I didn't see anything that actually backed up his claim that family members and the people from the other side already knew what was going on. I didn't see anything to help back up or support of anything that he was saying. Only thing I heard is how he felt. And this goes to show, whether this is for business purposes, whether this is for a friend, just because you may feel bad for someone or something happened, it may motivate you or inspire you to do things. Always, anything in business, if the agreement is not in black and white, that bad boy did not happen. That's what they always say. I think I'm over here glitching. If that bad boy is not in black and white, it did not happen. So because like it said in the Hollywood Unlocked, I keep wanting to say Neighborhood Talk. In Hollywood Unlocked, Boosie is claiming that the father played a major role. So if you had any documentation that would have proved that family members were aware, they signed off on it, and these are also the different steps in the process that these relatives or relative or people were present for and actually helped me with. You get what I'm saying? If you don't cover yourself in the front end or the back end, trust me, you're going to get rear-ended. If you understand what I mean. Hold on. Let me see if I'm over here glitching, girl, because I know Mercury retrograde tearing me up over here. You guys, make sure you guys like this video. It's not too bad. A little bit. It's not too bad. I'll continue. Alrighty, so after we get done with Boosie and Caleb, and I do want to continue to send condolences to the family, because I've also seen and heard other influencers, commentators talk about the whole Caleb situation and the tragedy, and talked about hazing and all the craziness that's going on. So I want to continue to send condolences to the family. Now, as we tiptoe and make our way over from Boosie Badass and Caleb, now we're going to make our way over to, girl, everything over here just messing up, girl. What is bad boy at? Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Let's get into TD Jakes. So this is brought to you guys by the Jasmine brand. Pastor TD Jakes is addressing taking legal action against AI-generated videos falsely depicting him at Sean Diddy Combs' infamous freak-off parties. During a newly aired appearance on the Today Show, the celebrity pastor explained why his legal team is going as far as subpoenaing, girl, let me get my tongue together, Google to uncover who is behind the fabricated clips. It says here, and I quote, Jakes stated, unaliving people's character has become a business, and your own network did their own research and proved that the AI generated images and pictures that went everywhere were AI generated, that they were false. I say, girl, bye. As previously reported, Jake's legal team filed a motion on December 19th to subpoena Google, YouTube's parent company, to obtain information that the creators of the defamatory AI-generated videos targeted him. The motion stated, these YouTubers are purposefully using the sordid and sensational claims revolving around Sean Diddy Combs to attack, humiliate, degrade, and defame Bishop Jakes and many other prominent black celebrities with manufactured claims that he is guilty of the same crimes and other lewd and repulsive conduct as Mr. Combs. I said, girl. The videos, which reportedly contain doctored images and false claims about Jakes, began circulating on YouTube following Diddy's arrest last September on federal sex trafficking and A-word charges. Jake's attorney claims that YouTube has failed to adequately address the false content despite numerous complaints. At this time, it has not been reported whether Google has responded to Jake's subpoena. Alrighty. Now, this is the video, actually. Let me play this bad boy. Let's see what he got to say, girl. Even though I'm just ready to go steal. What is bad boy at?
Chatter online last year about TD Jakes and Diddy and a lot of conspiracy theories out there.
Wait, before I even continue, can you guys hear that? I didn't make sure now, because girl, the way this retrograde is over here tearing me every which way but loose in terms of my technology. Let me know if you guys can hear that. Does that sound clear? I'm gonna continue playing though.
Online last year about TD Jakes and Diddy and a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Yeah. And then your lawyer's now seeking to subpoena Google over AI-generated YouTube videos. Instead of letting that one go, your lawyers are going after these videos. Why?
Because it's become a business. Killing people's character has become a business, and your own network did their own research and proved that the AI-generated images and pictures that went everywhere were AI-generated, that it was false. And even after your network did their research and published it, people still continued it. It's almost like we enjoy being angry. We enjoy whatever is salacious. We're not interested in truth. Swoops did something on it. Other people did. TMZ came out, said lies. Didn't matter what anybody said, including me.
A lot of chatter.
Girl. So let me just be very clear. Girl. I'm going to be honest. In terms of TD Jakes, TD Jakes is kind of here or there. And I'm going to be honest with you. He has been a little problematic about the little things that he has said in the past. And then he's kind of funny at times when people take clips of him being swallowed up and all the other stuff. Yeah. But in terms of, I really want to touch up on AI. Now, AI, in my personal opinion, I've learned to use AI to my benefit. Because I do understand that AI is the future. If you do not get with the times, or at least be aware of the times of where society is, you will be left behind, and you will be left in the gray, black and white TV era. And some may be cool with that, some may not, but at the end of the day, you do have to be at least aware of how things operate so you're not ignorant. So I do understand that AI is a blessing and a curse, but another thing that I thought was interesting about this specific story, it's that sometime back, I did report and talk about how Mark Zuckerberg had an issue with his fact checking and AI systems and stuff like that. And people, well, not gonna say people, he and other creators or whoever works under him work together to pull fact checkers and things that help discover the truth or help aid and abet and people as in the general public know about the truth. They wanted to get rid of those systems, not improve them, but completely get rid of those systems and replace those systems with something like community notes, which is something completely different from fact checkers. And computer notes, like fact checkers, has to do with statistics, facts, and experts who actually take their time and spend their life studying said subject and area. Compared to community notes, this has something to do with people's opinion, and a lot of people's opinion are people who aren't really well versed on said subject. So, reason why I brought that up, it's because now, since we are moving into the AI era, AI space, now, especially since with this specific administration, now that there seems to be, well, there is more of an objective to blur the lines of what's the truth and what's a lie, and kind of have the general public in the dark about what is and what isn't. This is a very dangerous time to where essentially anyone can be accused of anything. And especially now that technology has become more advanced, a lot of this AI, I think maybe because I am younger, a lot of the AI has most definitely improved. It's a whole different level, but a lot of stuff is very much realistic. So if AI has only been around for I don't know how many years, it's probably been much longer than I may be known. Like, dang, I can't get it out. What I may know, but it's very much realistic. So anybody can be accused of anything, and all they have to do is have an AI generated video or audio. And so I thought it was very interesting. And to be completely honest, if that is the case, from what it looks to me, that is the case, that he was accused of doing something or being part of something that was not the truth, then yes, whoever is responsible deserves to have that ass towed out the frame. And if he decides to dog walk you throughout the court system, it is what it is. Let's move on. So after we get done with Mr. Swallowed Up himself, now we're going to talk about Mr. Donald Trump, my favorite. What's going on? How you doing, Rainey? Alrighty, so girl, let's get into Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump, now this brought to you guys by the Neighborhood Talk. Because girl, I've been saying them all throughout this whole damn live, and all of a sudden, I finally got today's source. The Neighborhood Talk. Donald Trump with a message for the transgender community. No matter how many surgeries you have or chemicals you inject, if you were born with male DNA, you can never be a woman. Girl, this is just, oh, girl, it hurt my spirit.
Surgery. No matter how many surgeries you have or chemicals you inject, if you're born with male DNA in the cell of your body, you can never become a woman. You're not going to be a woman.
Oh, Lord.
And that's why last month I proudly signed a historic executive order to ban men from competing in women's sports. And it was very popular and very...
Okay, girl. So that's what Mr. MAGA had to say himself. I I'm gonna be honest. My bad. I'm over here crushing this damn bottle. My fault. I'm gonna be honest. In times like, Mr. President, with all due respect, don't you think you have bigger fish to fry than to worry about, in the words of Laverne Cox, don't you think that you have bigger fish to fry than to worry about that specific 1% when your attention needs to be directed towards the other 1%? But we know the reason why you're not going to do that is because, for one, you're part of that other 1%. In addition, you have friends that and peers that are also part of that other 1%. So this was one of the annoying things about the election. It's because no respect due. Okay. One of the most annoying things that I disliked throughout the election is the fact that he used certain talking points, and I talked about this on my Instagram live sometime back, to where he talked about certain talking points as a way to generate or activate the MK Ultra, which is that brainwashing in people's subconscious, to get them to vote for him. Because America, whether we realize it or not, I know for some people, the way that America is a shocker. But to be honest, America has always been this way. America has always broadcast who they are or who we are as America. It's just that with other presidencies and other administrations, a lot of these issues have become dormant. Not saying that they never existed or did not exist currently. It was just they weren't really activated or out loud, essentially. But with him specifically, a lot of issues, a lot of problems that America has to deal with or has yet to deal with comes to the surface. And while he was giving his Pappy Luther King speech about trans people being in sports, and he was activating the MK Ultra in the voters to vote for him because there is a conscious or subconscious level of transphobia or transmisia, while people were giving their votes and being single issue voters and trying to manipulate the truth about who is the real threat in America, they're passing legislation to strip not trans people, not only trans people or non-binary people or just queer people, but everybody else on the list. Like I said previously on my Instagram live, just because you are not a priority on said hit list, that does not mean you're not on the list. Just because trans people are a priority right now, or melanated people are a priority right now, or immigrants are a priority right now, that does not mean you're not on that list. So people need to get it together. And to be honest, in my personal opinion, it was very obvious. He told everybody what he was going to do. He said what he was going to do. And now he's executing. And now some people that voted for him are like, oh, snap, I didn't know. But to be honest, in terms, now I will say this, that it's going to be another conversation. Me and my friend, I'm not going to disclose the friend, because I don't know if they want me to talk about it really. But me and my friend, we was on the phone. And be honest with you, for me personally, I have always stepped back from this conversation because I know I'm not transgender or non-binary. And in addition, I know that this topic is a very sensitive one because these are conversations about people's real life. So we had a conversation speaking of transgender people being in sports. Now keep in mind, the media tries to amplify this issue about transgender women being in women's sports and all of these things. They amplify it. They really make it extremely bigger than what it really is in terms of how frequent it is. But in all actuality, it's a very, 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 I'm gonna keep reiterating, very minor issue, comparatively speaking, to the real life concerns, issues that the American people are dealing with. Reason why that is, it's because of this. We had the conversation, and in the conversation, we started to peel back the layers and really digest. Like I said, I kind of have a hands-off policy in terms of this conversation, only because I try to hear both sides, hear what point makes sense, and have them debate it out and see, what's going to be the end result. And me and my friend, we started to go back and forth on what did we think, or what was the psychology and all of these things, all of that. And we went down a very interesting rabbit hole because, in my personal opinion, I do feel that this may, now hear me with your ears, not your heart, this may be just because the idea or the area of transgender people being in sports is freshly new, it's we don't have all the answers. And because, like people have said previously, is that trans people can't have their own league is because it's not enough of them to have their own league. So that's not really an option. One of the interesting points that me and my friend discussed is that, okay, cool, because from what I understand is that transgender women, because they end up going on hormone therapy or having hormone therapy, to my understanding, they become much weaker than cis. Well, I haven't dropped the terminology cis. I'm sorry, y'all. It is what it is. Cis biological men. They become much weaker than biological men. Cis biological men. But from what can be argued on the flip side of that, they do have a physical advantage to cis biological women. But so we went down the rabbit hole, and where we came across, we came across the threshold of, okay, cool, because I was like, okay, cool, then we can just they can because I've also heard a scientist say this before. He said, okay, cool, what they can do, they can measure someone's hormone count, or see how far in their transition they are, and that can determine whether they can compete in said league and they can't compete in said league. You get what I'm saying? But then my friend proposed the idea, or said, okay, cool, that's perfectly fine. But then now we also have to entertain the idea and the conversation surrounding transgender women or transgender people who aren't on hormones, that still are considered to be athletes and are athletes. So now that conversation has to be brought to the forefront. So to be completely honest, as of right now, because of this topic is relatively newer, comparatively speaking to other topics, at least being brought to the forefront, we don't have all the answers in terms of I'm gonna say it like this, in a solution that we all can agree on. Now, do I believe that transgender women, men, non-binary, all these things shouldn't compete? No, I think they should compete. But I do believe that this is just one of the very few areas where transmissic or transphobic people can try to pretend to have a valid point, but in all actuality, when you pull back the layers, it's really about transphobia, in my personal opinion, because even this video proves it, to where you have a official who's trying to hold this image of I'm doing this to protect women on the forefront, but then on the back end, wasn't he just having like some legal proceedings because of SA or hush money, something like that? In addition, is this not the same person that had a beauty pageant and people made complaints about the beauty pageant and him just walking in with these underage people, well, girls? This is the same person that said that if his daughter wasn't his daughter, he would have sex with her. Like, so what about that shows that he's protecting women? And to be completely honest, I really can't understand. Like, I once me and my friend have the conversation, I can somewhat get it, but that right there, I don't think I would fully understand, because he told everyone the truth. Yes, he lied here and there, but however, his actions have always been the same. And the thing that gets me is the fact that this is not his first presidency. This is not his first run. So the fact that everybody's just, oh my God, I was confused that he was going to do that. He said he was going to do it. Oh my God, he's getting rid of all the immigrants. And the illegal ones and the legal ones. Well, my thing is, what did you guys think was going to happen? How do you think that ICE are going to check if a person has their papers or not? Keep in mind, because I actually had to have this conversation with one of my coworkers, to where he is Hispanic and he also speaks broken English. Now, he's born here in the States. So I was trying to tell him and get him to understand, like, you do know, like, they talk about the immigration. Keep in mind, when people say tell other people to go back to their country, they're also referring to you. Not because, well, fuck it. It's because you speak broken English. Keep in mind, the regular everyday person, they're not checking people's papers. They're not checking to see if a person is illegal or not, because for one, that's not your damn job. Two, ICE has to go around checking people's papers. And the common theme between ICE and the people that tell other people to go back to their country, and initially, ICE don't know who's illegal and who's not. The people on the street telling people to go back to their country, they don't know who's illegal and who's not. The common theme is that they are going based off stereotypes. And with those stereotypes, sir, you match the description, even though you're born here in the States and you are a citizen. So peeling back the layers would have helped a lot in terms of these ideas and thought processes, and also pushing back on both candidates. Because I'm here for pushing back on Kamala, but it was a consistent theme, and I'm gonna use the trigger word, an agenda to push back or on Kamala, but then there was lack of pushback on Trump. But I digress. Let's move on. So let's tiptoe and make our way over from, girl, if this thing restart one last time, I swear. All right, so now we got done talking about Donald Trump and him making America great again and trying to completely demonize transgender people once again. Let's get into Miss Jasmine Crockett. Now, Jasmine Crockett, she had a speech, girl. And in her speech, she referred to, I want to say, was it a governor or was it, I forgot who it was. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett refers to wheelchair-bound Governor Greg Abbott as Governor Hot Wheels. The only thing hot about him is that he is a hot mess. Girl. All right, so this is what she said and how she said it, and this brought to you guys by the Neighborhood Talk.
Yes. And because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes. And
all right, so that's what Jasmine Crockett had to say. Now let me go to the comment section. I do want to see what the people are saying. Now, one person says the whole Texas calls him that he doing the most. Oh, because keep in mind, when she said that, another official, what's his man's name? Rep Randy Weber, he files a censure resolution against. Girl, here's my thing. That be the gag. It be like the blatant hypocrisy of our democracy. Because how is it that people want to scream and preach and protest through the streets and be on their soapbox about being censored, and American people and the government and all these other people have the freedom of speech and utilizing that and being on their soapbox, but you want to make an approach to censor another official because you don't agree or you didn't like what they said, but no one took the time to censor Donald Trump for everything that he said and done. Now, but let me continue. Now, another person says, so Trump disrespected a disabled person, attached Nancy Pelosi husband and others. It says Marjorie Taylor had called many police names and Lauren Boebert, but this is where they draw the line. And some of y'all was on the comments of the Azalea Banks post, and girl, that's another thing about the Azalea Banks. Azalea Banks, girl, she could be a hit or a miss, but most of the time she's a miss. The thing with Azalea Banks, she didn't know how to shut up because girl, you are mentally not well. Between you, Kanye West, Wendy Williams, and everybody else up under the sun that fits into y'all sector, and I'm gonna let y'all decide what they all have in common. All y'all need to be in a room with padded walls. Lock the hell up somewhere. But let me continue. Post agreeing with them. Get a backbone. If they can dish shit, then they better be able to take it. Stop being pick-me's. Another person says, no weapons formed against her shall prosper. Another person says, we've heard words from the president, literally, which I do agree. Which I do agree. They going hard for Hot Wheels. Another person says, I thought we were done with DEI, though. The disabled ain't immune from jokes no more. Another person says, but Donald Duck can pluck. Yeah, okay. Another person says, I can unsee it. He has no proof that's what she meant. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. What are you guys' thoughts on Jasmine Crockett's comment? I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of want to, what do you guys think? Like about the comments? Do you guys think that it was a bit much? Did you guys didn't care? Do you guys take the approach of if they can dish it out, they should be able to take it? Or do you think they're like, oh, okay, girl, like, okay, Rainy says, Miss Crockett can't do any wrong in my eyes. Oh, okay, all righty. I'm gonna be honest. I like Jasmine. I do. But I'm gonna be honest, in my personal opinion, because I'm not a Democrat, nor am I a Republican. I'm independent. I don't identify with either party. I'm independent. If either candidates has policies that I agree with, then I more than likely would go with this said candidate if I have to choose one or the other. Here's my thing, though. I more than likely would lean more left, if anything, on a philosophical basis. More than anything, only because they have more policies and more philosophies that I agree with, comparatively speaking to Republicans, only because I do know and I understand that of their philosophies is the nuclear family. A lot of their philosophies is anti, essentially my existence. Now, philosophies versus execution are two different things, because philosophies in terms of the Democratic Party, I agree with more, but a lot of the executions we have to talk about. And that's what we're going to have a conversation about in 2.5 seconds. Under this administration, all gloves are off. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I get both sides of the spectrum. I understand that under this administration, sometimes you have to go to war. When you have groups of people or the opposing party or whatever you want to call it, they're going ham. They're not playing by the rules. They're saying any and everything out their mouth. They're being disrespectful. They're the ones playing dirty. Because I said this not too long ago on my Instagram live. Y'all make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, because I know a lot of times my what's it called? My notifications here on YouTube be all the way out the way. So I go on Instagram and I have lives over there just so I don't, I can still talk about what I need to talk about. But I digress. Let me stay focused. All right, so the thing is that I understand all of these things. That the other side aren't playing fair, and I said this on Instagram Live, is to where, why is it that the Democratic Party, they're trying to appear or trying to play by the rules when you know your opponent or your contender is not playing by the rules, and apparently they're winning? That's like bringing a bat to a fight when your opponent has that pew pew on them. And you know that they have the pew pew on them. So that doesn't make any sense. So I do understand that point and their plight. However, since I have been listening to, because I know that if anything, I would lean more left. So I have been listening and hearing the criticisms for those that oppose, not Republicans, but those that oppose the Democratic Party. And one of the consistent themes has been that the Democratic Party likes to throw rocks and hides their hand. What do you mean by that? I'm glad you asked. To where they would let or allow the conservatives or the Republican Party or MAGA to be the bad guy and do their dirty work, and then have this approach from surface level of, oh my God, these guys over here are the bad guys and we are the good guys. But then when you start to scratch at the surface, you kind of, if you dig just a tad bit deeper, you're kind of doing the same thing. Now, what do I mean by that? What I meant is that at the time of the war, Republicans, MAGA, or people, everything that up under the sun was being criticized for the beeper comment. And Democrats, a lot of Democrats and liberals were running on that. They're the bad guy. They're the ones that's so inappropriate about these beeper comments and yada, 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 yada. But I also started to scratch the surface on the Democratic side. And it was also brought to my attention that were also Democrats and or liberals doing the exact same thing. Now, I do understand there's not only one person that can represent a whole group of people. There is nuance. But I've seen it on more than one occasion, to the point to where, okay, I can't really ignore it, to be honest with you. Now, to wrap this all up and bring this back to Jasmine. Reason why. Now, for me, honestly, I personally did not care for the comment, as in like, oh my God, I'm just so distraught. But to be honest with you, I do know and I understand there are people who are disabled. And yes, other disabled people may not have been the target, but that does not mean they still didn't feel the sting. You get what I'm saying? So liberals or Democratic Party can't try to fully make the conservatives or the Republican Party look like they're just so this bad, evil, big bad wolf, which is true. Because keep in mind, let's not forget, sometime back recently, they're rolling back on DEI, which protects disabled people, protects melanated or marginalized groups of people of all kinds. But you can't demonize them for doing all of that and then try to make it seem like you're the good guy. But in the same breath, you're also making, some can argue, ableist remarks. Now, I do understand these are jokes. And I do understand that, you know, some people may get offended, some may not. And I understand that people are going to look at these differently. Like for me personally, I don't look at this as a flaw in terms of Jasmine's character. Me personally. Now, if it gets a little bit more strained, I'm like, okay, I might scratch my head a little bit, but I don't believe that she would do that. I could be right, I could be wrong. But that's all I really want to talk about. So that's all I wanted to get you guys' opinion on what were your thought processes. Because now I can honestly say in real time, this is one of the very few times that I've noticed and I would see there's a little bit, it's been shed light on the criticism of the Democratic Party to where they try to make the other party look, one to the big bad wolf, but there are some characteristics and some consistent themes. Now, one may be more obvious than the other, but there seems to be consistent themes that needs to be cleaned up. But I digress. Let's move on. Now, speaking of ain't ish ass naggers, now I'm gonna make this quick. Like I said previously about Azalea Banks. Azalea Banks need to shut the up because last time I checked, weren't you too busy worrying about Jasmine Crockett and you talk about she don't represent women and all this other. Let's be completely clear. I would rather have Jasmine Crockett represent a black woman than you, woman. Okay? I would rather have Jasmine Crockett, from what I know of her as of right now, represent, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people, women, black women would agree with this. I'm pretty sure there's going to be people that disagree because y'all may be Republicans, you're conservative. I understand that. Would rather want Jasmine to represent them than for Azalea Banks, who had her ashy ass cheeks out on stage with that ashy ass jacket. Lady, you need to be quiet and you need to be lucky that there's somebody representing you. Because when you represent yourself, you look a hot ass mess. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, what you said, Veronica? Hey, Veronica, it's been a little minute. I laugh because my grandma chased us in her wheelchair as kids. I know that's right. But let's move on. Now, speaking of girl, I can't. Now, this is one lady that irks my spirit. Now, I did post about this. It says Rep Major. Oh, girl. Beach blonde, butch body herself, Taylor Greene goes off on UK reporter after refusing to answer her question. We don't give a crap about your opinion. Go back to your country. Now, let's see what this xenophobic, in my personal opinion, xenophobic woman said. Because she irks my spirit. She really does.
Else
should the defense secretary?
What country are you? Wait, what country are you from?
The UK.
Okay, we don't give a crap about your opinion and your reporting. Why don't you go back to your country where you have a major migrant problem? And you no. You should care about your own borders.
Do you care about American lives?
No. Let me tell you something. Do you care about people from your country? What about all the women that are raped by migrants?
Do you care
No,
about
by migrants. No, do you care? Okay, you're done.
Do you care about American lives being put at risk?
You know what? No, I don't care.
Service members fighting for your country.
I don't care about your fake news. Do you have a relevant question? Yeah, this is an American journalist. Thank you.
I'm American, and I'd like to hear your answer to what she's asking.
I'm not answering her question because I don't care about her network. If you would like to ask, I can answer.
Do you have any concerns whatsoever about the complete disregard of operational security from the top level of this administration?
You want to know about complete disregard about operational security? You should talk about the Biden administration, how they ripped our borders open to terrorist, cartel, child sex trafficking, human trafficking, and drug trafficking across our borders for 4 years. The Trump administration is doing a great job, and I stand by their statements. I stand by their statements. My comment to you is I'm thankful to President Trump that he is leading us out of wars, that he's ending the war in Ukraine, where American lives could have been killed if Joe Biden was still president today, whether he liked it or not. We're talking about NPR and PBS today. We're talking about fake news that was funded with federal funding from American taxpayers. That's what this is about today, not journalists from the UK that should care about their...
A journalist is being vilified for exposing failings in the way that your government conducts itself.
It's just the fact that she walked up like she ate that up. Girl, shut the fuck. Girl, bye. Like I said previously, these issues have always been here. Racism, xenophobia, etc. They're coming all different shades and all of that. And you telling this woman, for one, as I believe is obvious, that lady did not want to answer the question, because your first line of defense when asked about the breach of security, your first line of defense was that I don't care because you need to go back to your country and stop trying to get over here in American business about what we got going on over here when y'all got too much over in the UK going on and you need to attend over there. So when you need to do it 180, take your arse back to UK and you need to get it together over there. And then what we're going to do, we're going to have our inside conversations over here. So I'm not answering no questions from you. That was your first line of defense. Then the other reporter came in and slam dunked on your ugly ass. And he said, well, okay, cool. You don't want to talk to the UK reporter. But so I'm an American reporter. Since you want to talk to American reporters and American news outlets, I'm going to ask the exact same questions. Now, your second line of defense was to deflect. And deflecting from talking about the breach of security and addressing the issue at hand, which I also posted about, you wanted to deflect to Joe Biden, who's no longer the president, the immigration issue, which that has nothing to do with nothing. And I'm not gonna lie, sometime back, I got the opportunity, or at least I was offered the opportunity. I'm not gonna say I got the opportunity. Well, I was offered the opportunity to work in Congress. Not gonna say what position, nothing like that. And I didn't do it. To work in Congress. But I had the conversations with a said individual, and this was the first time, because I wasn't deep into politics. This was the first time I had the opportunity to hear what's been going on in Congress. Like now, like it's been more publicized about how they be cussing up a storm and they be getting real down and dirty up in the House of Representatives and the Senate, and get real gutter snipe up in there. I had that conversation some years back before it really made its way to the forefront. I'm going to say, yeah, to the forefront. So it's just the fact that these dumb mother are really in positions of power to run our country. And there has been a breach of security. And keep in mind, when there's a breach in security, or when there are situations that's going to call for us to possibly have to hit those front lines, it's the motherfuckers in power that don't have to be put out there. It's going to be other soldiers that have to risk their lives because of some other people's stupidity for being DEI hires. And I don't mean DEI in terms of diversity. I'm talking about DEI in the context of the way that they use it as an unqualified. Putting people who are not qualified, who don't have the experience, who don't have the resume in said departments, putting them the head of said departments and making them in charge of other people and being leaders. Now, I do understand being a part of being a leader is also it's making the hard decisions. But another aspect to leadership, especially when you're governing and being over other people, is that you have to look out for your team. You have to look what's in the best interest of my own. What's in the best interest of the American people? What's in the best interest of my peers? Being a leader is selfless. So now you got people in positions of power making decisions and being put in positions, and when the repercussions make their way into the group chat, figuratively, there are going to be other people who have to pay with their lives for that. This is another reason why I was really, really trying to it irked my spirit, because another thing I had to tell some other people in my life. I said the issue with Trump is not really so much a Trump, but the issue that I have with Trump is that I also know, and I wanted other people to pay attention to, is that it's not only does Trump with his BS, because I'm kind of immune to him a little bit here and there, whatever. I can have my times I can take him, sometimes I can't. Cool. But it's the fact that I need people to understand that not only does Trump get his in office, it's the fact that he puts Trump loyalists, Project 2025 loyalists, in positions of power. Now, Trump, his reign ends in 3 years and counting. A lot of these other positions are a lifetime. So even when we get different leadership in terms of presidents, etc., in positions of power, it's going to take an arm and a leg to get stuff done because of these other positions. But hey, make America great again. Girl, let me continue. Let me move on, because if not, I'm gonna be on a whole rampage all day. Let me see what this person says. Based on her demeanor and voice, Miss Miss Butch Body, like, girl, even her, she triggers me up. But seems like she should be working at a laundromat. Like she, and that's the thing too. My thing. It's the being put in leadership. My thing, what are the credentials? Because apparently there's a whole bunch of DEI hires. Because what are the credentials that have you in these positions? Because the same can be said, and this is the reason why even during the election, it irked my spirit when people will get on their soapbox and have their Pappy Luther King speeches about credentials, about DEI, about meritocracy, about all these things. That even when my own melanated people were sitting there spitting out that BS, because to be completely honest, this goes back to what we said even earlier, talked about how people on the opposing side do not play fair. And people on the same side wants to play by the rules. Why is it that you're trying to play by the rules when the other side is showing you in order to win, you're going to have to play dirty or you're not going to have to play by the rules? Like I said previously, that's like bringing a bat to someone that got that fire on them. Makes no absolute sense when you know they have the fire on them. So when people were giving a Martin Luther King speech about meritocracy, guess what the opposing party was doing? Or the opposing side? They was continuing to practice nepotism, which is you get in by who you know, not by those credentials. So while you got one side over here having a Martin Luther King speech and arguing with each other, talking about some, nepotism, meritocracy, and it irked my spirit when I saw my very own people speak and talk about some, I'm the 92%, and we're the most educated. Like, and I know some people didn't mean any harm by it, but I'm like, are you guys really thinking that this really has anything to do with meritocracy? This has nothing to do with meritocracy. So it does not matter how many degrees that you have if you can't do anything with it. It does not matter how much qualifications that you have, because that's the same plight within the community. So you having all these credentials, but not knowing what to do with or how to make it exist means nothing. Let me continue, because girl, I'm gonna get fired up. So now we move from one 8-inch ass nigga, and now we're gonna make our way over to Jonathan Majors. Now this is something I kind of want to talk about. Now I'm gonna need more of y'all opinions on this subject. That is brought to you guys by the Jasmine brand. Jonathan Majors lands a new role in action-packed thriller True Threat. Now it says Majors played Vernon Threat, a special forces operative seeking vengeance after his teenage son is red-rummed by the Harlem gang, the Apollo Kids. Infiltrating the gang's stronghold, a 20-story building called the Cartier, Vernon fights his way to confront the gang's leader, his former mentor, Shiloh. True Threat combines action with deep themes of fatherhood, brotherhood, and community. The film, which features 52 blocks, a Black American martial arts style, marks a milestone as the first major movie to showcase this discipline. Girl, can I get that out? Let me get some water. Hold on real quick. Mouth by dry as I don't know what. Make sure you guys thumbs up this video. Come on, Mercury. Venus retrograde got my computer just glitching over here. I'm going to look at the playback and see how bad it is. Alrighty, let me continue. It says the film, and which features 52 blocks, a Black American martial arts style, marks a milestone as the first major movie to showcase this discipline. McMurray directs from a script he co-wrote with Hodge K. Johnson, with action design by Lionel Stovall. This is the latest project from Cat 5. Okay, so that's okay. So. Good news for Jonathan Majors. Now, I want to talk about Jonathan Majors because me and my friend, we had a conversation about him. And now, Jonathan Majors, he just recently got married by Megan Good. Now, I want to know you guys' opinion on this. Me and my friend, we were on the phone, and we were just minding our business like we always do. We're really minding other people's business, to be honest with you. Just minding our business, but being messy at the same time. And this person just started to just not yell out, but let it be known that it was very irritating to them, because they started to notice that ever since Jonathan Majors got blackballed, he started to tiptoe and make his way and make his rounds back into the Black spaces within the Black community, like the Breakfast Club, like getting married or dealing with Black women, etc., etc., etc. Now, I did know that, yes, he got married to Megan Good. Yes, that he had that trial, that case that he was convicted guilty on. And I think it was just a misdemeanor, and he had to serve like a year of program for DV or whatever. and he's essentially been blackballed from the entertainment industry. What are your thoughts on the situation with Jonathan Majors? Your real authentic thoughts on the Jonathan Majors dilemma? Because from what I understand, because there also was a clip that I want to say Rolling Loud released of him actually admitting that he was aggressive towards his ex-girlfriend. So my understanding as well is that he, within the trial or somewhere around that area, previous girlfriends also spoke out about how aggressive Jonathan Majors is or was. I don't know. But I'm going to say it like this, in terms of, because I've listened to both sides of the spectrum, except I don't listen to it all. And to my understanding, I feel like this when it comes down to Jonathan Majors. I feel as if, for me right now, on the limited information I know about him, cool, people want to take him back, take him back. If Megan wants to, well, she's going to do it anyway. If she wants to be by his side, okay, cool. But I will have my eye out on Jonathan Majors. It's because now that I am aware of the accusations allegations made against him about him being aggressive towards women, now I'm going to see and really pay attention to how things transpire between him and Megan Good. And also, I'm going to see, especially if or once he's not blackballed anymore, I want to see how active he is within the Black community. Because another talking point and another dilemma that I did see people talking about and having issues with is the fact that he was able to be on stage, and I like Iyanla, but in my personal opinion, like I told Conscious sometime back, before it was before he came to that consensus as well, Iyanla is a mammy. So while he was boohoo crying, she decided to hug him and console him and bring him into her arms and yada 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 yada. Then not too long ago, Sherri Shepherd had Jonathan Majors on the show, and she was crying and giving him words of encouragement, all these things, yada yada yada. Now, one is going to argue and one may ask, what the hell that got to do with anything? I'm glad you guys asked. One consistent theme that I did notice and see is that melanated people are too forgiving. And not only that, we are a Black male worshiping community. Reason why people argue that, it's because based upon what I know, Sherri Shepherd, we have to tap on your box a little bit, sis. How is it that you can be in front of Jonathan Majors and say that he's an inspiration to your children or something along them lines, I'm paraphrasing, and give him all these words of encouragement, but you criticized and completely demonized and was in your Mammy Luther King bag when it came down to Megan Thee Stallion presenting herself the way that she wanted to be presented? And that's another thing too. It's the fact that it's two sides of the equation on this talking point, what I'm about to say right here. There is a place or a space where people can be convicted of something and found guilty of a crime and be completely innocent. But there's also a space and a case to where someone can get away scot-free and be guilty like a mother. So I said all that to say this. I am interested in all of the evidence. I'm also interested in all of the data that happened in the courtroom, that transpired in the courtroom. I'm not talking about the stuff that made the headlines. I'm not talking about the stuff that the general public just knows. I'm talking about the things that, for the jury's purpose, for comparing to the jury, that proved to them that he was guilty. Now, the reason why I said that, it's because initially, because this is me taking into account of what people said, the allegations of the previous girlfriends speaking out about Jonathan Majors. If that is true, and if I take that into account, in the audio from that Rolling Loud released, he said, I've never aggressed a woman before. But the flip side of that is that you have testimonies from other women that you've had relations with saying that's a bold-faced lie. Now, either could be true, but I don't know. But I would love to see the evidence on all of that. Let me see. Veronica. Now, Veronica, she says, the Breakfast Club interview was interesting. I want to support him, but I'm still side-eyeing the situation. I don't know. But I will. My thing is, and you know what? That it's nothing wrong with that, Veronica. That's how it should be. It should be to the point where, okay, we're just not going to take you back for just any and everything. In addition, we're going to analyze and really look into what's going on. Not get into our pappy bag, not get into our mammy bag, not get into our misandrous bag, but really try to see what happened and really pull back on the layers. But I don't know. But I will be keeping my eye out on Jonathan Majors. Not saying he's a good guy, not saying he's a bad guy, not like that. But now that since I've been made more aware of who he is and kind of his background, now I have the opportunity moving forward to pay attention to the behavior and the way that he's moving. Be honest with you. But let's continue. Now let's tiptoe and make our way over. Girl, if this thing reload one last time. Let's tiptoe and make our way over to, girl, this is what I want to get into right here. This right here is what prompted this live right here. Marvin Sapp done lost his everlasting mind. Now, says gospel star and pastor Marvin Sapp sparks outrage after demanding his congregation sow a total of $40,000 before they can leave. Now, let's see what this knacker got to say.
Close them doors. Ushers, close the doors.
Hold up.
There's 1,000 of you. I said, there's 1,000 of you. I said, close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors.
First and foremost,
close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I actually think $20 is a lot of money. $20, believe it or not, when my late wife, Melinda P. Sapp, was alive, was a good date. I could take her to the movies, buy a box of popcorn, get 1 soda, 2 straws. I wasn't cheap. That's swag. There's 1,000 of you. I said,
before I even say what I'm about to say, let's read some of the outrage. Did I just see a video of Marvin? Now, this one user says, did I just see a video of Marvin Sapp telling the ushers to close the doors and no one could. That's my thing. What, you finna hold me hostage? You finna hold me hostage because I don't give a donation or tithe? You better be lucky I'm even coming to this church. And one of the reasons why a lot of people haven't come to the church, because for one, proximity, and two, because you the pastor. You lucky people even come to that church. But let me continue. Us to close the doors and no one could leave until everyone sold a seed totaling $40,000. What is happening? He done lost his everlasting mind is what happened. And let me continue. Another user says, church members are the most gullible group of people, and church leaders know that. Anyone who stayed and donated money when Marvin Sapp did all that was taken advantage of. Nothing is free, not even the word of the Lord. What a shame. Now, me and my friend, we spoke about this sometime back. We spoke about how the being gullible and people being taken advantage of and all of those things, yada, yada, yada. And the psychology is that the reason why people who are typically are religious are very gullible, it's because they are vulnerable. It's because you are vulnerable. You are in a vulnerable situation or vulnerable phase in your life, which makes you vulnerable to other war tactics, like people weaponizing God for their own motives, and also can manipulate you mentally to the point to where the perpetrators of said manipulation can essentially be very blatant and obvious with their tactics, but you're so tone deaf because you've been so I'm gonna say manipulated, mentally manipulated. So you're tone deaf to it because you were vulnerable. But let's continue. And then this also goes to another reason why, because to my understanding, people that are typically religious, they are more likely to, or have more of the ability to join in cults and stuff like that. Now it says Marvin Sapp now another user says Marvin Sapp holding his congregation hostage for $40K is insane. Girl, girl, it's hot. It is hot. And another user says, oh, baby, I saw Marvin Sapp preach in New York back in 2017. And at the end, he said, come on up here and sow your seed. We're going to start it at $100. If you're not sowing $100, don't even come up here. I've looked at him funny since. Now, Mr. Marvin Sapp, now I know that you have a song, Never Could Have Made It. But to be completely honest, the way I would have turned you and them ushers every which way but loose, because you telling me to sow a seed. No, the only thing I would have been seeing is seeing my ass out the door. Because it's one thing to tell, like to encourage the congregation to donate, to tithe. Because whether we realize it or not, whether we want to be honest or not, it is what it is. And because I don't know all the perks in terms of tax write-offs and stuff that the church may or may not do. I don't know. But whether we realize it or not, tithes and other tithing does help keep the lights on, whether we realize it or not. The church, just because it's a church, that does not mean it does not have a light bill. That does not mean it does not have a water bill. That does not mean that it does not have things that may occur in terms of the air conditioner might be broke. Someone has to fix it and someone has to pay for it. So I do understand that tithing financially does help out with those things. But, sir, you got me 50 shades up. If you think you finna tell the ushers to hold me hostage, because, and then on top of it, it's an insane amount of money. And if that's the case, since sowing a seed is so important to you, you missed the big bank take little bank. You sowed a seed, sir. You put that $40,000 up there. How about you do that? And then it's just the fact that it also feels as if you are completely out of touch. Some people, I'm sorry, just can't give $20 at the time because they may not have it. Girl, Retro Red over got my computer acting crazy. But they may not have it. So yes, you and that usher would have got turned every which way. And then that was the first thing that I noticed that really turned me off too. Is the fact he talking about ushers close the doors. I told y'all to close the doors. First off, you ain't tell me Nathan. I don't know who the hell you talking to. How was you cool? Who the hell you talking to? If everyone, and my thing is this: if you're gonna talk all that, and if you're gonna talk all that ish, and have a lot of that big D energy in terms of donating, what you should have done, and maybe you did, because it's only a clip, y'all. It's only a clip. Whatever the end result was, in terms of whatever you made. So if the congregation only came up with $10,000, or if the congregation only came up with 40, or whatever, or exceeded that, you should have matched them. Okay, we made $40,000. I'm donating an additional $40,000. And this also is very disheartening for people that care, because, being honest, I'm not religious, nor do I really care about the church anymore. My philosophy has changed. That's my personal opinion, but I do respect other people who do care about the church. This also is disheartening for some other people, because this also confirms the corruption in the system of a church. Now, any type of big system that, or big business that you are involved in, because of the wickedness of said the wicked foundation of the system, the higher up you get up in said positions of power, the more political, and I'm using that purposefully, the more political and corrupt it becomes. You start to see how corrupted and distorted things are at the top, and it makes its way down to the bottom. So when you are in a system or in a foundation, whatever business, that's the word I was fishing for. I was fishing for it, in a business like the church, whose sole purpose is supposed to be to provide comfort for the people within the community on a spiritual level, mental level, physical level, and financial level. It's supposed to be a safe haven. So now when you are in a space where that's not even the case, come on, rapping. That's not even the case. Yes, this is one of the reasons why people are leaving the church, because it's this Pappy Luther, Mammy Luther King-ish that goes on in terms of the coddling of men, the teachings of men, the coddling of men in terms of when you have men that have taken advantage of women within the church. People don't want to address the elephant in the room at all. That is one reason why people are leaving the church. Another reason people are leaving the church is because of the distorted philosophies of the church. I'm going to give you an all-male religion and God, and then I'm also going to have women digest this philosophy and put their faith into a male God, and then at the same time, we want to have a shocked position or posture when we see that these philosophies translate to thought processes, which translates to habits, which translates to a way of life. So now you have women who are being conditioned to put their faith into male gods and figures, and we are shocked, and we want to have a hands-off policy, and shocked that women are putting their faith and a unhealthy faith in men and not seeing the red flags at all, because they're always trying to look for the good in someone, even though this they keep telling you that he's a snake. Now we shocked. That's another reason why people are leaving the church. Girl, Marvin Sapp, get it together. Get it together. I'm not shocked that all of this is happening, because it's the age of Aquarius. I'm gonna keep saying it over and over and over. And then it's Venus retrograde. Whatever the foundation of this society has always been, but like I said previously, it's just been dormant. This has always been the society. This has always been the businesses. This has always been foundations, etc., etc., etc. It's just that this time period, the age of Aquarius, is going to expose it. And this Venus retrograde is going to exaggerate. It's going to irritate these systems to really allow what's ever been dormant to come to the surface. So when you have people like a Kim Burrell, love her voice. When you have people like a Kim Burrell, or people like a Marvin Sapp, or people like a TD Jakes, it's not a coincidence that they're being exposed in this time period. But that's all I have to say, y'all. That is it for my video for today, guys. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, and please, please, please smack that notification bell so do not miss any of my posts from me. Until next time, guys, I will see you guys later. Please make sure you guys thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Please, guys, thumb it up really does help me out with YouTube's algorithm. I know I've been doing my pre-recorded content, but now when you do live streams compared to pre-recorded, you got to get the engagement back and you got to build it right back up. I'm pretty sure this did not get out to a lot of people, a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers. So with that being said, thumbing up and sharing this video does help. But I will see you guys later. Deuces. Bye.